Hi, I'm Stewart Campbell with Firestep Media, and today I'm joined by Eileen Dueñas. Eileen is a Christian rapper and has just published a new song. So, Eileen, tell me a bit about this song.
Yeah, so it's called Awaken the Heart, and it's about human trafficking and my history with that and my feelings towards that today. So it's not a full version of my story or my testimony, but it's just a little glimpse of what I went through and also just my heart behind trafficking and the current situation today. So
Yeah. Now, getting obviously a song like this, obviously, who did you work with to kind of obviously produce this song?
well, number one, I work with God because if it wasn't for God, I couldn't have wrote this song. It was hard to write. Um, it wasn't a subject I wanted to write about, especially my history being in that life. I didn't really want to write about it. It's not something you want to put to a song. You think of music, you think of, oh, I want to enjoy the song or put a song to, tune everything out. But this was a song I had to tune back in to things that was very painful for me. So God definitely helped me through. I had to pray all the way through making that song, and then there was other people who produced it and recorded and stuff like that. But I'll say I have to give number one is I give thanks to God for even helping me to be able to write it. I didn't want to write it,
Yeah.
so yeah.
No, it's a tough topic, and it's incredible that you've actually kind of been able to, use your experiences to kind of put that kind of your story into song. So, where could people listen to your song?
It's on all digital platforms, so YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all of them. You can find it there. You just have to spell both my first and last name because I ain't famous, but yeah, you can find it on all digital platforms.
And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Okay, so the person who recorded at Full Price Media, so JT at Full Price Media helped me record that song. So, yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah.
And to anyone out there who's going through tough times and things like that, how can music help inspire or get people to kind of come forward?
Music that's centered in God brings hope. So if the music is not centered on truth and on God, then there's no hope in it. It's kind of just like a numbing, because I grew up on a lot of different kind of music, none of it Christian, none of it godly, and so it was like a medicine, like a promethazine, like a numbing cream, you know what I mean, and stuff. So music helps people get through. Yeah, so I started writing this song after my brother had sent me the beat, and he said, I feel like you're supposed to write this song about trafficking. And my initial response in my head was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I don't want to talk about prostitution and trafficking, all that. I don't want to talk about that, right? I don't want to rap about that. Like, I talk about it and I help people that are still in that life and in my position that I was in. But rapping about it was different. I think that when you make music, it's intimate, you have to tune into it, like you have to tap into a certain part of your heart, it's a different part of the brain, and then you have to repeat it over and over. So I didn't want to write about pieces of my story that was so painful coming from that life, because I knew I'd have to repeat it over and over. When you're writing a song, you have to rap it and rap it, you have to repeat it and repeat it so you can memorize it and so you can get a flow where you're going to write next, what's the next lyric. Then when you record it, you're repeating and repeating. And so it was like I knew I would have to rip off a Band-Aid, you know what I mean? I knew I'd have to go tap into a painful place again. And so the only reason I moved forward with it was because God kept nudging me. I felt God kept nudging me to finish the song. So I would do it in pieces. For real, I would do 2 lines at a time. So I started writing, I was driving back here from Vegas. I started writing a little bit and I got like maybe 4 bars, but I was just crying. So every time I would go to write the song, I was crying. And that's when I'm like, man, I want to finish this song. And I put it off, because it was painful. And so, and then even the pieces where I'm talking about the traffickers, I'm talking about the pimps and the sex buyers, right? I started to get mad. So I'm writing, I'm getting mad and I'm crying. And that was my journey writing the song. So I have to write 2 lines and I'll have to stop. and then I'll come back weeks later or months later or a year later and finish. And finally one day, I felt like in my heart, like, man, I need to finish this song. I need to do something in this movement of rescuing women from that life through God. And so I went back to the notes and I said, all right, I'm gonna try to finish it. I'm gonna try to finish it. God, just help me. But when I went back to the notes, I had done so many little notes in there, and I had written little pieces that it all was a full song finally, and I didn't even realize it. So I didn't realize it was a full song until I went back to it, and I was like, okay, man, I have to finish this because it's not about me. The only reason I would finish this song is because I knew it's not about me. This is about the people in that life. This is about the lost people, the hurting people that are still in that life of trafficking, right? That are still in that life. I use other words so help people understand what I'm talking about, but and are still in that life of prostitution, still working at the strip club, still working at the brothel, still trapped in that life, thinking there's no other option. Still, it's for the men that are out there buying sex. It's for the men that are out there pimping. I knew it wasn't about me, so I had to finish it. And God kept nudging me. And so when I went back to the notes and I found out that I had a full song, man, I was grateful. I said, oh man, thank you, Lord. I don't have to do no more on this. And then going into record it, it was just like I told JT, I said, man, I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared today. I'm just gonna try to I'm gonna give it my best shot. I haven't practiced this a whole lot. Like, man, I'm just letting you know. And I said it's a real heavy song, you know, and I prayed and all that. And then man, it just came together. It came together so beautiful because it was God's work. I strongly believe that. You know, it was a God-inspired song to rescue people, to bring light, to bring truth, to expose the truth. You know, to let people know the truth that they don't want to hear. People don't want to hear about this. Just like me, even going through it, I didn't even want to talk about it again like that, in that way. And but it has to be said.
So thank you so much, Eileen, for obviously coming on to talk about your song. If people want to find this, where can they find it?
You know, they can find it on all digital platforms. It's on, you know, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all of that stuff. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. So the link will be in the comments.
So Eileen, thank you so much for telling us all about this new track you've just produced. Is there anyone you want to give a big shout out to?
Yeah, so JT at Full Price Media, he's the one who recorded, produced the song. So yeah, he did that, man. He did that. And then shout out to my team at Awaken.